Hey, my name's Santi. Do you think history's boring? I sure did. But that all changed when I started reading about how otters were discovered and everything that's happened to them since. I always thought that there was one species of otter, the cute one, the one that's out in the bay, splashing around, doing its little flips. But soon I learned there were actually 13 different types of otter, native to different regions all around the world. In fact, every continent but Australia and Antarctica has otters playing in their water. In the 1700s, before America existed, roughly 300 years ago, there were approximately 150,000 otters to 300,000 otters worldwide. That's more than enough to give every kid in Salinas a pet otter. But soon they were hunted for their beautiful pelts. I'm sorry that all your imaginary pets were hunted for their pelts, but we'll talk about this later. In 1741, there was an expedition from Russia to explore the North Pacific. A very important person came with this expedition. His name was George Steller. He was a naturalist. Much good came from this trip, but there was also much sadness, or otherwise known as the otter ran into a bump in its very bumpy road. The first bad news. On this voyage, they were shipwrecked in a place called Commander Island. They were stranded throughout the entire winter. Another bad news is that, as it happened, Commander Island was a place where otters gathered. And with a whole bunch of men starving and looking for warmth, well, they hunted large amounts of otters to survive. When they returned to Russia in 1742, they brought with them around 900 otter pelts, which was enough to pay for the entire expedition. Everyone wanted them, and demand triggered what is now known as the Great Hunt. That lasted for over 100 years. But there's good news. The first scientific description of otters was published in 1751 by the same man, George Steller. This book was in Latin. The name of it was De Bestiis Marini, which in English means beasts of the sea. He described sea otters as having thick, luxurious pelts, and also wrote that they played together, like human beings, and embraced and kissed each other. How cute. But he also described how the natives hunted them. For 200 years afterward, there was never another written scientific description of otters.
I'm not going to open your door.
And so, let me end by saying that history is all about learning from other people's mistakes.